Guys, we have just one order of business to take care of, and it's something it's honestly been a really long time coming. I did not finish this thing until this very morning. I want to thank all my friends that helped me out with this color stuff. A big help. Colin helped me out last night. Handtake and 8th Gen Hype. Everybody helping me out with this little thing right here. I got a Pokedex completion mark and one little gift, which is the Shiny Charm. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. 7 days, guys. It took me exactly 7 days to get the Shiny Charm in this game. That is not the easiest thing in the world, and this elevator blends right in with the rest of the wall. That is not my fault. I decided I want to do this in a place where Wooloo was in the overworld. So Route 1 seems like it's going to be it. Let's do this thing, man. Alright, well, there's nothing here. I'm going to reset the route, and hopefully the next time I come back, I will have nothing but Wooloo to show for it. And then we can get above decent odds for the first time here. Of course, there's always the possibility that I could do this and literally nothing would show out. Or show up, I should say. If the Shiny Squabbit shows up, that'd be almost okay, because that would be a full odd Shiny. And, you know, I guess it would come with the square sparkles then. So basically what it is that, and the way I understand the coding of the game, is that the square sparkles, okay, how do I explain this? Alright, I explained it yesterday very concisely. Today, not so much. Basically, when you do an XOR operation on your secret ID, your trainer secret ID, if that matches the secret ID of... If the XOR operation matches the XOR secret ID of the Pokemon in question, then you end up with a Shiny, right? Basically, if those two numbers exactly match, you end up with a Shiny Pokemon. Now, if that's the case, if that XOR operation exactly matches, then that Shiny is basically what we would call full odds, and therefore comes with square sparkles, right? But if you get the Pokemon on any sort of a reroll, then you get the star sparkles instead, right? For example, if you're using Murder Method or Masuda Method or what have you. Now, therefore, if you are doing random encounters, then the only way to get a Shiny while you're random encountering without Shiny Charm or anything like that is to have that XOR operation match exactly. So therefore, you're almost certainly going to get square sparkles, right? Whereas with methods, not necessarily the case, so that's why the square sparkles are that much more rare. Does that make sense? I think that's the way I understand the game's code anyway. So basically, it's the only thing is that the square sparkles basically mean that it was a full odds encounter as opposed to a Shiny Charm reroll kind of thing. By the way, guys, so we're at 300 encounters here, which means that our odds are about 1 in 580, which is kind of cool. Those are pretty good odds. I like it. So, yeah, if you're doing the Murder Method, you still have a chance of getting the square sparkles, you know. But I don't know. Like, we really have to look at the game's code, and right now, the only people that can really look at it are data miners, and we don't have any real additional information from them besides what they've already said. Jenna, but so you're saying it's regardless of method that you get stars from a random encounter. But these aren't random encounters, right? They're method encounters. This is Murder Method encounters. I think we need more information from the data miners. I still think it's not clear. Twitchy, yes, the Murder Method is considered a method by the game's code. Yes, that much we're sure about. So, Remleak, if you're wondering how to shiny hunt in this game, and I did not switch out the Wooloo again, or sorry, the Dubwool. Basically, you KO Pokemon until you get to 500 total Pokemon KO'd of a given species, and at that point, every Pokemon of that species has an elevated shiny rate. And if you go to your Pokedex, there's actually a little number there that tells you how many Pokemon of a given species that you've actually KO'd. And If you get that number up to 500, then you have a 1 in 512 chance with the shiny charm to get a shiny Pokemon. That's all there is to it. Well, Ultra Karma, yes, but what they've done is they had a chance to look back at the game's code, right? And they found that the chaining method, what it does is doesn't increase your chance of getting a shiny or anything, but does increase your chance of maybe getting a brilliant Pokemon, or it increases the chance of that Pokemon appearing more often, right? But unless you're looking at the game's code and can understand the game's code, then anybody else is literally just speculating, right? So it's speculation without knowledge, I think, is not worth as much as being able to look and understand the game's code, or maybe getting things wrong at first, but being able to eventually tell us the correct information. You know what I'm saying? Amphi, I forgot about Snom. You know what? I think Snom might be my next hunt, because I love Snom so much. Me and Snom are best friends, man. You should know that. Snom's so cute. Snom is the most adorable Pokemon that has ever existed. Bar none. Think of any other Pokemon. Think about whether it's better than Snom, and you're wrong. It's not. Yes, Mr. Twitchy, I am kind of disappointed that the shinies aren't in the overworld in this generation. It was a really nice feature in Sword and Shield, or sorry, Sun and Moon. God, there's so many fucking Pokemon games. In Sword and Shield, see this chat? It's not. This stream isn't for kids, people. COPPA my ass. Point being, in Sword and Shield, there are so many shinies that are subtle in a good way. That I like them, but I still think that it would be a little more difficult in this game than other games to do the overworld encounters, overworld shinies, but I would still love to see them. This is the one difficult thing about the Wooloo hunt, is that, yeah, gosh darn it, there are not that many Wooloo around here. I really wish there were more. Mass, you're in Stow on Side. Dude, alright, Stow on Side has a theme song. The very beginning of it sounds like the very beginning of YMCA. Just saying. It's a thing. I agree, man. Gen 2 is my favorite generation. It is. Nothing will really quite compare to the wonder of playing a new Pokemon game for the first time. As somebody who was just enamored with Red and Blue version, the fact that we got a new game with like updated graphics, cool new Pokemon, and 2 regions in the same game, that was the ultimate Pokemon game, and still kind of is. Zagar, why do we call it November and not Yes-Vember? Probably because the base root of the word is from the Latin for 9, novum, and not no as in a negative. And also, yes, I'm very fun at parties. Why do you ask? Techie Junk, that is a good question. Why is November the 11th month if its name means 9? It is because of 2 people. One who, both people who were so vain that they wanted to have months of the year named after themselves. They are Julius Caesar, which is why we have July, and Caesar Augustus, which is why we have August. And so they just kind of said, well, we each deserve our own months, so we're just going to put them in there. And so there had been 10 months, which is why December ends in Deca, meaning 10. And then they just kind of put their own months in there, and we called it a day. So that's what happened. Interesting enough, Russia was a late onboarder of the Gregorian calendar. They used the Julian calendar until the early 1900s. At one of the Olympic Games at like the 1920 Olympics, Russia showed up like late to the games, right? Because the rest of the world was still using the Gregorian calendar, and Russia was still using the Julian calendar. Keller Steph missed the blue crystal sparkles from Gen 4 and Gen 6. The Gen 6 sparkles remain my favorite, man. And maybe I'm like biased because That was the first game that I really shiny hunted in. But I still love them, though. You know, some of those crystal sparkles, they actually do show up in the Gen 8 sparkles here, but only very briefly, it would seem. I think Gen 6 really brought a lot of people back into the game, I gotta say. Including my buddy, and honestly, including me. I honestly quit the franchise a little bit after Generation 5. The original black and white games, I thought that the graphics were not very good. Or not, at least not enough of an improvement, and I didn't like the Pokemon designs. Later on, I did pick up Black 2, White 2, and I quite liked the games. But the original Black and White I didn't like so much, and so really it was seeing Generation 6, seeing the trailers for X and Y, and these fully 3D Pokemon games that brought me back into the franchise, and I credit those games with that and for getting me into shiny hunting, man. Jay Straight, you got a random Muno with the square sparkles on the first run-through. Very nice, dude. We've been arguing today. There's apparently still no consensus on what makes the square sparkles versus the star sparkles a thing. The Time Destroyer, what is going on, man? It is good to see you. Intara, you didn't play Gen 4 and 5, but only a ROM of 3, and Gen 6 brought you back. There you go, man. Yeah, I did. I will admit, I played Ruby and Sapphire when they were brand new, but I did play the Japanese. Oh shit, guys, it's a Shiny Wooloo. Yes! Awesome! 354 encounters. It looks so good, and it's got the square sparkles. We were just talking about those. Wow! Talk about odds, man. I got the shiny charm. I sat here, guys, for 1 week after Pokemon Sword and Shield came out, specifically to get the shiny sparkles. Or not the shiny sparkles, but the shiny charm. Because I thought it would help me out in the long run, and guess what? It did! That's the Shiny Wooloo, and it looks so good, and very close to what I predicted, I might add. I don't need info, I need a Pokeball here. I can't believe it showed up so quickly, guys. Ultra Balls! Let's do this thing! That's a critical capture. Let's see if it works out for me. We got one shake. And God, thank God, the captures in this game, holy shit. They are like, they give you a lot of suspense, man. Yeesh. Oh my God, guys. So happy to get it, guys. That is Shiny Wooloo. It looks so good. Y'all, if you're watching on YouTube, this is my very first shiny of Sword and Shield, so I'm so excited to get it. But this is the end of the video. Thank y'all for watching. If you like the shiny, if you like this shiny, yes, of course you like this shiny. It's Wooloo. If you like this video and want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, guys, we are going to see you on the next shiny.